Bell and Company.
Yes, it is another edition of It is Bell and Company.
Yes, it is.
I am Mario J. Bell, and in the studio live with us today. The other day we did it, she wasn't here, but look, it's Libby joining us. Hi, Libby.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good. It was a little dicey getting here today. They got some events going on over here by the studio. So, but we're here, and we're gonna have a great show. We think every show is great, don't we, Libby?
Yeah, we do.
We hope the audience likes it too.
We toot our own horn here.
But for everybody that's wondering who we are, I am Mario J. Bell. Been on the radio for a while, on and off, in the Chicago market, in Iowa, and Las Vegas. And Libby joined me about 3 years ago for our Chicago station near Evanston.
Yes.
And we've been together ever since. And, she's been annoying me every show.
I can't get rid of you.
No, I don't know if it's you getting rid of me or me getting rid of you. But either way, we seem to do a pretty good show together. And your name, by the way, people were wondering what's the name? So Libby, and the last name is what?
Libby Tartars.
Yes.
How you doing?
Yes. So again, we like to make fun of everything at this point. We make fun of the president, the past and current. She makes fun of me. We make fun of her name.
You make fun of me. I'm the dummy.
It's obviously all of our stage names. But actually, with me, I really am a Mario, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I'm Italian, French, and German. It's kind of a weird combination. I always made jokes that I was fighting with myself in the war.
Yeah, you still are.
But anyway, so yeah, no, that is my real name. But Libby, she doesn't want everybody to know. She's kind of incognito.
Yeah.
Even the mask. So you don't even want to see people to see the face recognition of your face, right?
I'm that paranoid.
We love it. But so we've been doing the show together for a while now. And, we always try to entertain, of course, inform, motivate, because that used to be, people might not remember from my other shows, especially here at IntellectualRadio.com. I did a show called Motivation, Inspiration,
I remember
Information.
I was on it.
And then I went to WLS and changed it to Inspired and Motivate because I thought it was easier.
Inspire and Motivate. I was on the other one.
Yeah, that was a little easier to say that one. That was my producer's suggestion. But anyway, so that's what we're still doing, believe it or not, folks. We're not always goofy. We have some decent guests on every now and then. And we like to, all of our stories. Sure, we're poking fun at the news, but we also like to inform, educate, like I said, we're not all fun and games around here, are we, Libby?
No.
So anyway, did you have anything for opening statement, welcoming back to the studio with me? Anything you want to say real quick?
I'm glad to be here. I mean,
we're glad to have
you.
Yeah, I was worried yesterday that I may never see you again. I heard you were with
me again.
You were with the family, and they were going to lock you in the closet or something.
Yeah, they were driving me nuts, of course.
Well, anyway,
I'm sure I drive them nuts too.
I'm glad you're able to get away for a couple days because the plan is, as long as everything goes as planned, we'll be here every weekend, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Woohoo! A lot of content to cover and guests to have in. So, this is our first week of getting going. So I figured we can start booking things down the road. But I was telling one of the managers here off air that we're going to have some celebrity guests on.
Who?
Not just business owners and stuff.
Who?
So, who? Well, I'll give you a hint. He used to be in an act with Venus Flytrap.
Oh, Tom Dreesen.
Tom Dreesen, yeah. So we're scheduling that. We had some scheduling conflicts, so that's why he hadn't been on in previous years here with us. But he's definitely said he can do it probably in May or June. So that's when we're looking to have him come around, so people can. How about that for teasing? I'm teasing 2 months out.
Yeah.
It's a little far, but But the point is, we're going to have some interesting people on. Hopefully, people like what we're doing here. But anyway, so today I wanted to. This is your favorite topic, Libby. We're talking about the 1%ers.
Oh, no.
That's all I got right now. You're going to start crying and yelling at me as soon as you hear the article. So anyway, this is a story of a guy who, hey, I hope we all can get to this level at some point in our lives. He's actually a self-made billionaire.
I don't believe that at all.
That's what. Okay, I was waiting for you to comment. So Libby's theory is, go ahead and tell me what you're talking about off air.
I think your parents have to be rich, or you have to get investors or a loan from the government or some money to make money.
Oh, it takes money to make money,
right.
But you don't believe that a guy like us, or a guy like me, and working with you, I went and got a credit card and I got a bank loan. That's not self-made, is what you're saying.
You just can't pull out. you need to make, you have to make money or have money to make money is what I'm
Well,
trying
no, I
to
got
say.
that. I think the thing you said in the
I'm
green room,
fumbling.
you were like, "Wait a minute, it's not fair. That doesn't count. You're supposed to do it literally like side jobs and working for side jobs, right?"
Well, yeah, because I just don't believe the self-made myth. I just don't.
I mean, it can happen. I mean, what if I was an heir to the throne or something? Then I guess that counts, right? He's still a billionaire. Or you don't believe that that's a real billionaire?
I
Like
don't
the Saudi
know.
princes, they're not really billionaires?
No, I think they are, but I don't think some guy in a news story. I think they're not telling you the whole truth. I'm just cynical like that.
Well, let's see what the story says. I'll just go ahead and read it from CNBC's Make It site. And a cool site to look at. I don't know if you've ever seen it yourself. I'm always reading the stories, but it's a website. It's kind of like a sub CNBC website. Talks about like entrepreneurialism and
Yeah, I've seen that.
inspirational stories. Just stuff we like to talk about, right? But anyway, so this is one of the world's youngest self-made billionaires. Absolutely recommends, and this has really nothing to do with being rich, but how he decided to, or what he decided to do in life and how he got rich. He basically says in a quote, it absolutely recommend dropping out of any kind of college you're in, even trade school, and go ahead and focus on your own business and start making money instead of spending it.
Yes, but still, you have to have money to make money. Is my theory.
I get it, but now he's going to go and probably get the couple of side jobs and start a business like IntellectualRadio.com.
Side jobs, yes.
Or me with Mario and Libby doing our show. That's a business. But I honestly did have a little backing besides the credit cards. I did get some business partners, but that was a long time ago, not now. Now it's just me and you.
Yeah.
So, but again, you don't like the theory of him being actually self-made, but that's how CNBC's looking at it. Yeah, this isn't me giving you the opinion. I'm reading the
corporate
article.
media. I don't trust. I don't like.
Well, here's why he says we should go ahead and just focus on our business. Did you need some water? You all right over there, Libby?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Here's why we should focus on our business. And he's saying you really don't need a college degree. Maybe the first, how you can go to like a 2-year college in a lot of states, or you can go to the university and only do like part-time. That's the option. So he's suggesting, okay, get the basics out of the way. But he insists that, and this is Austin Russell, the billionaire that we're speaking of, one of the youngest billionaires in the world.
I never heard of him until today.
Well, I guess you don't know all the billionaires, do you?
I know
you know about President Trump. I know that you like talking about him all the time.
Well, I know about Bill Gates and
and
Bezos,
Gates, obviously. Bill Gates. Everybody knows Bill Gates.
Elon Musk. Yeah,
Oracle.
I know about them.
The Oracle guy. I'm forgetting his last name. Not McAfee. That's another one. McAfee, however you say it. But yeah, there's a lot out there. But getting off the subject for a second, I'm agreeing with you in one aspect that yes, I mean in Saudi Arabia, we just mentioned it briefly. That was all a family involvement with the oil
money
companies.
off of oil. Yeah.
Saudi America Americo, whatever it's called. Anyway, that's all a family-owned business.
Right.
People think it's. I think maybe it's publicly traded now, but it wasn't started that way.
Yeah,
But oil's like printing dollars. It flows. Just flow. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a little oil well right here? Just let it flow.
Yeah.
But then you got to refine it. Don't forget about the refining part. You can't just have the raw crude. But anyway, I guess in that sense, yeah, they weren't self-made necessarily. They were inherited the money. But this guy, he says he is. He said he started from going to college, being a dropout, and getting into this business. So anyway, I'll just go on with the article. This is Austin Russell, the world's youngest self-made billionaire, as I said, like 4 times.
How old is this dude?
He dropped out of Stanford. So this wasn't like he was going to the community college. In 2012, he dropped out of Stanford to start his company. And you probably have heard of Luminar Technologies. It's huge.
Just heard about it now, to be honest.
Okay,
I've never heard of that.
You just heard about it on the radio.
Yes.
Okay.
I've never heard of that place.
All right. So anyway, after receiving a $100,000 grant from the Peter Thiel Fellowship. So there you go.
That's what I'm saying.
Again, he went and got investors.
Yes, it's not.
Still not
you can't
self-made.
do it on your own, in my view. It's just you got.
Right. Well, whatever.
You
got
help.
$100,000 grant from Peter Thiel, who I don't know if you know.
Even Zuckerberg had a bunch of people with him.
Well, but that's who I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Peter Thiel is the person that was one of the initial investors in Facebook. But anyway, so CNBC Make It is where I'm getting this article from. They asked him about, what he recommends for other student entrepreneurs in terms of what to do to get started in her business. Should they drop out of college? Now, he's 28 now, by the way, but he did this when he was in his early 20s. So anyway, should they drop out of college? And his response was one word. I kind of mentioned it earlier.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, my daughter didn't have that option. So,
well, now see, that brings up something important. If you're going to a specific trade, and you need that train. You can't just walk in and start being an electrician.
Right. I understand.
I mean, I
That's what
did
my
play
point
with
is,
electricity. In fact, the other day I was playing with electricity. I shocked myself. But anyway,
I bet you deserved it too, man.
But funny. But that's something that you need some training, right?
Yeah,
you don't
obviously,
just walk in.
yeah.
You need an
You
apprenticeship.
just can't walk in
you
there.
need trade school. So that's fine. And he agrees with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And your daughter obviously agrees with that. She went and got a master's degree, right? Libby, your daughter, Libby, has a master's degree?
Yes. And I'm very proud of her. She's way smarter than I am.
Sports medicine or something?
And she's
nutrition?
Athletic trainer. Minor league baseball team in South Carolina. So
I mean, that's a specialty. So you probably need, I don't know if she needed a master's to do it. Maybe was that the requirement of some of those teams to have a master's?
I'm pretty sure it was her choice, but she did have a degree or prior to that.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a requirement for some of these teams.
But she's doing good. But still,
so she did it. She did what? 8 years of school?
Yeah, but she didn't do it on her own.
Wait, what is that? That's 4 years of college, 2 years of
she had a fellowship,
2 years of master's degree, or 4? How long is it?
It was 2.
2, yeah. And then obviously some internships, right?
Yeah, fellowship,
scholarship stuff. Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's what your daughter did, but he's saying just go ahead and start your business. So, he agrees that college is not for everyone.
No,
and I'm quoting this billionaire guy. It's just sort of the traditional approach. Of what you do and what you're supposed to do, what your parents tell you to do, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So, and then Russell's decision actually proved to be good for him. His company, a tech startup that develops hardware and software meant to power self-driving cars. That's why I thought maybe you would have heard of it. Because you're into all the electric car stuff.
Well, Tesla I know about, but not this dude. So,
well, guess how much his company's worth?
Billions, right?
$2.8 billion.
Of course.
Woohoo! And he also says that he would have still left Stanford even if he didn't get that funding from the Peter Thiel Foundation. So he still feels no matter what, he's going to do it on his own.
Right.
And if you're wondering if I would actually have dropped out without any grants, I would have absolutely. There was no doubt in anyone's mind. And it was going to happen anyway at some point. So there you go.
I'm just skeptical. That's all.
But his view is you don't need to go to the established university.
Right.
Because you can find stuff now with like Google training and all of these online universities. Even Stanford has online classes, not the full. I don't think you can get the full degree at Stanford, but you can take classes from Stanford on the internet, through their website. But anyway, over half of Americans, about 56% of Americans, agree that a 4-year college degree isn't really worth it. And this is from the Wall Street Journal saying this isn't me. This isn't CNBC. This is Wall Street Journal.
But like we said, it's if you're going for a special reason, you got to go.
I think your daughter is a perfect example. That's kind of a specialty. I mentioned electrician, even for media, for broadcasting. I don't think you just want to walk in and try to figure out how to work the audio board.
Right, exactly.
Do mic levels and stuff. You need some training.
Right.
But you don't necessarily need 8 years or 4 years of college and a master's degree.
Some people choose to go for that long.
I did learn a lot on the job. I was lucky. They don't really have it anymore. They had what they called public access television.
Yes,
it's kind of gone away.
Yeah.
Chicago, Illinois still has it. The big city of Aurora still has it. The bigger cities still have it in Illinois, at least. We're based in Illinois.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was able to get training through that as well as some college. I actually have 6 years of college, and I still don't have a degree.
Yeah, I know.
That's a long story in and of itself. I guess I'm agreeing with this billionaire guy. I just wanted to start my own business, but I ended up actually getting into the field and getting into broadcasting, media broadcasting. So it worked out. Okay, I guess, but I work with the family now, so I guess that I'm not self-made, am I? I'm getting family.
No,
money.
You are not. I like to rub that in every time.
There's a lot of skepticism. Back to the article here. Skepticism about the practicality of a college degree, and that's basically steadily increased over the past few years, especially through COVID. And experts even say that higher education is still proven to yield favorable results, like better pay and higher skilled jobs. So maybe that was why your daughter felt she had to do it. She wanted a better pay, basically.
Yeah, she's a good worker, so she's
They
good
were
at
looking
what she
for a
does,
specific
so.
skill set, and maybe they needed that degree. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. But again, according to our 28-year-old billionaire, Russell, the same resource you can get from a university are easily accessible. I touched on this a minute ago, via smartphones, tablets, other devices through these online universities. And I don't know if they're as credible as Stanford, but like I said, even Stanford has some online, especially during COVID. Everybody was going online.
Yeah.
So anyway, all this information is available at our fingertips now online, he says. This is not something that was true 50 years ago. So technology,
Of
you know,
course,
guys like Bill
yes.
Gates helping out
Of
made this
course,
happen.
yes.
So we can all blame Bill Gates. How about that?
Yeah.
Or Steve Jobs. God rest
Yeah.
his soul. I really like the Apple stuff. I know
I
it's
call
nothing to
it
do with this
crapple.
article or topic, but you don't like crapple? Is that what you
No,
just said? She
no,
calls
I
it
don't.
crapple. Everybody.
I don't like crapple.
Anyway, great innovation though. You got to admit, I'm using
Well,
Apple
yes,
devices.
but it's
We use Apple devices in the studio. I mean, come on.
it sounds like a pain
it's
in the
a
butt.
lot of innovation there.
You have
But
to have
anyway,
their accessories and all that.
we didn't have that. You know what computers were in 50 years ago? The size of this studio.
Right.
So
Right. I was alive
know.
then. You forget.
yeah. Oh, that's right. We were little, weren't we? Anyway, so it's not something that was true 50 years ago, but totally is true in the 2024 years, or this century, whatever you want to say, this 10 years, decade. But he says, in my teens, I was able, and this is the billionaire again, I was able to watch the entire lecture for Stanford and MIT for applied physics. So that's a pretty intensive class.
Yeah.
At the 2 times speed on the internet. He wasn't even watching it in real time. He would speed it up.
Wow.
You can do all of these kinds of things that were never possible. You can get through entire curriculum and annual courses in weeks if you just watch it back to back.
Mhm.
So if you binge watch instead of Netflix, you binge watch the Stanford site or Harvard site or whatever,
Right.
University of Illinois.
Yeah.
We can get it. But I'm wondering about, does it apply towards the degree? Am I going to get a bachelor's degree doing this?
Yeah, it seems
That's
suspect
the thing
to
that
me.
I'm
I
wondering
mean,
about.
yeah. It's a lot of work, it seems like.
So I guess just do it for the knowledge is what he's saying. And it helped him start his business. And now he's, almost $3 billion worth. His company is worth $3 billion. But anyway, it isn't to say that you'll become, I'm quoting him again. This isn't to say that you'll become an expert in a particular field from a quick YouTube. Okay. So we all agree on that.
Yeah.
The key is to facilitate your own learning. You have to have the initiative. This is Russell being quoted again. You have to have the drive to do it. And particularly as an entrepreneur, there's no, one way and one person that'll be holding you back along the way. It's you. You're directly accountable for at least all the things that are in your control. Like, milestones in life, what you do, what goals you set and meet, and it ultimately delivers, your resources can deliver your goodness to the world, basically. So I guess to paraphrase what he's saying, it's basically what he's trying to tell you is you can get the training, but you don't necessarily have to have the structured 4-year college degree or master's or doctorate, unless even he admits, unless you are going to be a doctor.
Right.
I don't think I want a medical doctor working on me with 1 year
of course not. Come on.
Training in the field. So, because they do a lot of training. MDs it's like 10, 11 years before they're working on patients. So, but anyway, so he also says, this is the Russell guy, the 28-year-old billionaire. He doesn't regret any of his choices at all. In fact, it basically played a major role in why I've been very fortunate and thankful to see great success at a still very early age. So I would consider 28 pretty young still.
That's my daughter's age.
Yeah, she's still pretty young. Yeah. I mean, we're starting to get up there. I can see the wrinkles on the doll. That's why the secret is that's why she's wearing the mask.
Time she's
got all the wrinkles around her lips from smoking.
She's aging because of you.
Yeah.
Oh, she doesn't smoke.
The wrinkles are from me too. All right, fine. Yes. That's fair. But yeah,
drive
interesting
her crazy.
Story. I know a lot of people are probably going to go back and forth on that, just like our topic the other day with Mr. Simpson, who's still dead, by the way. Anyway, no. So yeah, it's. I'm kind of torn about it because I did pay a lot of money for the training I had. I didn't get it for free. Some of the training I did at the public access television station, they allowed me to go through their classes. That was like $5 or something. It was really inexpensive. Oh, wow. This is in the early 90s.
I didn't even know they had training for that.
They did. They did. The class was like, I want to say a couple of weeks. It wasn't very long, maybe a month. because we had an
Wow,
extra
I didn't
special
know that.
long one because he was showing us a little more with editing. A lot of people don't get into their own editing in the
Oh,
live public access
I can
world.
only imagine how hard that
th-
would be.
Again, this is the old days. Now everybody edits on their phone. You got apps, you got Canva to make pictures,
Yeah,
which
it's a lot
reminds me, I
more
need to get
easier.
these guys our pictures. So we'll do that. I'll probably have to use Canva. See, it's online. You don't have to go to school for graphics design for 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing what you can do. But anyway, so yeah, so I was saying I'm on the fence. I like that I still would have some formal training,
Right.
but do I need to spend $100,000 and go into debt to the government?
Well,
That's a whole
that's
nother topic, but
that's a whole nother
you know,
can of worms.
yeah, I
though.
know.
mean-
That's a whole nother. Let's see how much. It's a whole nother 30 minutes that we could talk about if we really
Yeah.
wanted to. But no, we don't. We're going to move on to another story. But the point is that you have options today.
Right.
So that's what he's saying. But what interested me about that article is, first of all, CNBC covered it. The guy's a billionaire,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have a master's or even a bachelor's degree. So that kind of
yeah,
is why
that's
I
what
thought that'd be
worries
something
me
to talk
about
about.
this.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Even your father has a master's degree, right?
Yeah, my family business. Sure, the owner of the big boss.
Yeah.
He actually was working for the city of Chicago, believe it or not, in the water department. So he was digging the ditches. And when they would have to connect the pipes or they would be disconnecting stuff from a building, people were throwing stuff at him. Like, that's gross.
Oh
So
my
he's got a lot of
God,
stories.
that's
He'll sit
horrible.
and have some drinks, so he'll tell you those stories. But anyway, so he worked his way. He had a job, a hard one too.
Of course.
He'd go dig the ditch. Well, this is what he's telling me now. I wasn't there, obviously. I wasn't born yet. But he said he'd go dig the ditch for like 4 hours, go to college for 2 hours at the University of Illinois, which happened to be right near where he was working in the city, and then go back and dig the ditch. So he did get the bachelor's degree. He did get the master's degree.
Right.
He actually went for one master's and was going to get his doctorate and ended up getting another master's in business administration.
You told me a story. He
business
was
law.
going to
So
med
he's got
school
like
or
a
something.
master's and a half.
Yeah.
So my dad went the traditional route, but only because he was going to go work.
You gotta remember, this is back in the day where college was affordable.
I mean, I don't know about affordable, but it wasn't online. You had to go to the university.
I understand that, but it was a lot.
But the thing with him
the
is
boomers had a lot more easier than we
he
did.
wanted a specialty. At one point, he wanted to be a dentist.
Oh, I thought
I'm
it was
not
a
sure.
doctor.
Yeah, no, dentist. But I have no idea how he went from being a dentist to starting a business, real estate investing. He started in the life insurance business. How do you go from being a dentist to wanting to sell life insurance? I have no idea. So that's my dad. We should have my dad in. He'd be an interesting guest.
Yeah.
Libby will have a field day with him.
Yeah, I would be like,
he's gonna
yell at your son more.
He's gonna finally understand what we're doing here and all this craziness because he doesn't know about this. He doesn't know about Libby and
he
the
probably
whole
thinks
show.
we're wacky.
He knows that I do voiceovers, which has nothing to do with this. I just told him I do voiceover, which I do. I'm available, by the way. If anybody needs anything, let me know. You can call us on our hotline or reach out to Intellectual Radio. But anyway, back to the story. I digress. My dad did go the traditional route because, again, this is over 50 years ago.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily have online learning stuff.
No, but they had
night school. He did night school and he did middle of the afternoon school. And what I'm really surprised about with that story is, why did his boss let him do that? How did his boss let him take 3 hours? I guess he liked him or knew that he was going to college. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he said he would get all of his work done while most of the union guys were standing around. He was digging the ditch. That's what my dad tells the story of. Now, I wasn't there. I don't know if that's true, but according to my dad, it gave him plenty of time because they would then go and inspect it and have to put all the rings in, do all the stuff the union guys do in the city. And then he'd be at college. So that's how he ended up. I would call him more self-made. Yes, he did get loans. We all get in business. We all get loans here and there.
But I'm just saying.
But he worked his way through college the hard way.
Yeah.
You want some water? You need some water, Libby?
Yeah, he is.
Where's your water? I don't know. Yeah, give Libby some water.
It was warm anyway.
The point I'm making is there are other options, and going the traditional route is not. I'm not saying. Oh, apparently 56% of Americans think you don't need it, but I'm still saying go do it. You got the money, you've got the expertise you need. You want to be a lawyer? I don't think I want a lawyer that's only had 2 years of college. So
of course not.
Especially with some of the stuff we're dealing with, real estate. So yeah, that's all. It's an interesting time. We could, like I said, we go on forever. We could talk about other options out there. Talk about getting a guest in here from the community college, get their view on things, which I guess we could do. Give me ideas for shows, but again, the fact that CNBC covered it is what made it interesting. So Anyway, moving along. Did you have something? What were you gonna go ahead?
No,
You're
I'm
drinking.
just saying, you know my views on this, and
I do.
everybody,
That's why I thought
everybody
you.
on Facebook knows my
You
views
know,
about
I
this.
mean, your daughter had, what'd you say, like 8 years, or I
Yeah,
said it, probably 8 years, right? Because
yeah,
masters, or
yeah,
at least six
yeah. She went to college, and
post high school,
then 2 years of
and then
you
the
know.
fellowship. But anyway, back to the
Yeah.
story. That's not important. She decided to do the more traditional route,
Yes, she did.
and she's making pretty good money, isn't she?
Yeah,
So
she likes her job.
she's
She
not
enjoys it.
complaining, right?
Yeah, she's enjoying the job.
So, well, anyway, it's giving me time to find my article here. I always think I'm ready, and then when it it's time for the next topic, I lose my article here. Anyway, let me see.
Typical.
Yeah, it happens pretty much every time. Oh, everybody can go. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell everybody. Everybody can go to our, and we're going to put some stuff up for the management here to take care of for us and show on the wall somewhere. But you can go to my Facebook, and there's all kinds of crazy stories there that you can enjoy and maybe comment on if you want to call during the show. And my Facebook is Mario J. Bell, Bell. / Santa Rana. I don't say the full last name because I want to push Mario J. Bell because that's part of my name, so people know I'm giving it away. I actually have that stage name, kind of like Libby, but again, Mario's my real name, first name. God,
Yeah.
natural born. My parents gave it to me. Anyway, so you can go to mariojbell.com, which is under construction right now, but eventually we're going to have a whole bunch of videos up there. But you go to the Facebook, and my fan page is still, it says Bell and Company, but it's actually Mario J. Bell and Company, and then motivation, inspiration, information.
Yes.
It's silly. For some reason, maybe somebody around here knows why I can't change that name. It is tied. I guess it's tied to your personal account, but I changed the name a couple times before. Now all of a sudden I can't do it again. Like, this is a new business. I started a new show.
Right, I remember
Why
this.
why can't I call it Bell and Company like we're called? So anyway, so you got to find me under Mario J. Bell. Just search on the internet or put Mario J. Bell Radio, and all of the stuff will come up. You can look at all these crazy Facebook stories. You can see some articles. Maybe my police report. I don't know. Is our police report up there? I don't know. Now, luckily, I haven't been in any trouble lately.
Yes.
So, this is another story that I found very interesting. And this was from Fox News, actually local Fox News out of Chicago. Libby, did you know that there was a high rise in St. Louis available for sale for like $25 million?
No.
And they were offering it to individuals, like obviously probably an investment group, but they're not looking for, to section it out.
No, I didn't know.
I don't know what somebody would do with a whole skyscraper, but according to this article, a home in LA, a typical home in LA, which I know what they cost, there's suburbs here in the Chicago area, they're like 7-8 million.
Yeah.
Well, LA is like 17. Homes in LA are like 17, 18 million and up. I think Oprah's mansion was like 50 million or something like that. And Jay-Z's, they just bought another one on an island somewhere. I mean, but again, it's big money. So this article is talking about a skyscraper in St. Louis is less money than most homes that you would purchase in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So what would we do with a skyscraper? I guess we could rent it out to radio stations. How about that?
Yeah, can rent it out.
Would you have some kind of business you would start? Maybe the whole top floor in the penthouse or whatever?
Me, no, but I'd rent it out.
Spa.
I'm not a business person. You know that.
No, I know. You're my co-host. I know. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny that I'm not sure why Fox did this story, but they compared the LA mansions pricing, the average LA mansion pricing, which is now at like 14 million or 12 million. I forget the numbers were. I could pull it up in the story. Why don't I do that? Let's see if it pops up. I'm just reading the Facebook post. But anyway, the point is they picked St. Louis. I wonder why they didn't say New York or Chicago, but I guess it's because this whole skyscraper, this one building in St. Louis, in downtown St. Louis, is for sale. And they're trying to get one owner out of it. So I know a lot of times investment companies buy into it, like a big real estate investing firm would buy, they buy like 20 buildings and obviously they sell them off or they rent out part of the space. A guy named Trump, that guy? You heard of him? So I could see the Trump Foundation or the Trump Co, whatever it's called, buying a building. But anyway, it's in St. Louis, available for the price of an LA home, which is crazy. So the question is, and this is again from Fox News, actually Fox Chicago, which is a local Fox affiliate. Should you shop, I should say, should you shop for a home now or wait for potential drops in the mortgage rates? What do you think?
Whatever you can afford, whatever you
right
can
now
do.
they're
I
at
mean,
6 or 7%. Anyway, most home shoppers are facing the dilemma, especially as mortgage rates have risen and they're getting really close to 7%. Which, by the way, I like to do a lot of these little side stories because it all relates. Mortgage rates in the 1980s, when my dad first started. Speaking of my dad again, bringing my dad back into it, were like 15%,
mhm,
and that was a low one.
mhm,
So a lot of people were getting partners and investing and doing cash deals. They weren't relying on banks. But
mhm.
anyway, this is high for us now. 7% high.
Yeah, I agree.
2 years ago, it was like 2.5, 3, whatever. But the point is, it was much lower. But anyway, so with all these, mortgage rates being so high, and maybe not having any slowing in the market anytime soon, and given the current chaotic market conditions, one might question the rationale behind purchasing a home, right? Well, after all, as I mentioned, the price of a house in a city like LA could actually require you getting somewhere, basically it's the same as the equivalent of buying a 44-story, and this is what I was talking about in St. Louis, a
Mhm.
44-story office tower. And it is true. One of St. Louis's tallest towers, which initially fetched 200 million. So it's a little more than 40, but still, it initially got 200 million back in the early 2000s, around 2006.
Who has that kind of loot? Not me.
Again, probably investing firms. But anyway, recently it's changed hands, and now it's going for only 3.6 million. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's actually a steal, right? For a big sky, a 44. What was that? What did I say? 44 story.
You got to have the loot.
Again, you're gonna get partners. You're probably not gonna be
Yeah,
self-funded buying it.
you
You're probably
can't
not
do
gonna
it
buy it by
yourself.
yourself. You're gonna have a partnership.
Exactly my point.
But anyway, the Goldman Group out of Boston is they own this former one AT&T center, a 44-story high-rise spanning 1.46 million square feet. Whoa, that's big.
Mhm.
So, and the tower's value, obviously, as I said, plummeted. It used to be at the 100 million mark, and now it's around a little less than $3 a square foot.
Mm.
So maybe it's not that great of a real estate market in St. Louis, it sounds like. But anyway, meanwhile, last month, so now we're back up to 2024 here, the median listing price for homes in LA was still at almost $1.5 million for the average home. This is just, 2-story, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, the basic home, right?
Mhm.
So 1.2 million.
Ugh.
And that's actually a 7.8% year-over-year increase, surprisingly. So it is going up in LA, but that's way down. Even just like St. Louis, that's way down from what it used to be. They used to be going for 7-8 million, like I said, even 12, 14 million. But anyway, in West Los Angeles, a single family 1,000 square foot teardown on a 6,200 square foot lot is going for $1.2 million, and it's a teardown. It's the lot. So woohoo! And
Who
Los
is that
Angeles
kinda
obviously
loot?
is like what, second largest city. It might even be number one now. I don't know if it's surpassed New York yet. But anyway, Los Angeles is obviously large. And while the average price is lower than, the recent sale price of that one AT&T center, the point is, if you just got another million from an investor, you could end up in St. Louis with enormous real estate. So it's
Yeah.
amazing what's going on in the market. So,
But you got to have money.
I mean, honestly, I would think it'd be cool to have a penthouse in that building. So, but I don't know if I want to spend 4 million or 3 point. They're
Of
asking
course.
3.5 million
Yeah.
right now.
That's a catch. You got to have money.
You got the catch. I know you always are about the catch, and the 1%ers taking everything, right?
Yes, that's what I'm about.
I believe that it does trickle down, and people
I
can
don't.
get a leg up. But again, you might have a point about that, needing some
I'm
money.
still waiting for it to trickle down.
It does, just slowly. Anyway, the Wall Street Journal has turned its spotlight onto the St. Louis real estate market because it's basically a nightmare over there. And I'm sad. I know people that live in St. Louis. I actually worked there briefly for a photography company. I can tell that story another day. But anyway, the Wall Street Journal is saying that it's basically a nightmare. It's just a lot of challenges in St. Louis, a lot of vacant properties. The Railway Exchange building is another big one that's pretty famous in St. Louis. It was big downtown. It was a bustling downtown, and it's now basically mostly vacant.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of sad to hear about that. But again, I'm interested in buying that building. Anybody out there want to email us and invest in a skyscraper in St. Louis? That's a steal. So Here's a great part of the article I definitely want to bring up before we're done with this is what else could you buy with 3.6 million basically?
Oh boy,
Any guesses?
I don't know.
A chateau in France
Okay.
near Paris.
Okay.
Because they're getting so crazy in some areas here, obviously not St. Louis, but like in Illinois, in the Chicago area, even with the downturn, the market's insane.
Yeah.
Try rentals in all these big states,
Yeah.
big cities of these
course.
states. It's way up. That's not good. But anyway,
It's not.
so here's what this kind of money gets you everywhere else. You could buy an 8-bedroom neo-Gothic castle with a castle with 34 and a half acres of land for around 1.7 million. Okay, another French chateau situated in I don't even know how to say it, Monoclonone, and that's in central France along the River Cher. I do know where that is. It's only listing for $1 million.
Only $1 million.
So, I mean, it's still.
Oh,
I'm not
boy.
look.
Only.
If you compare a building, real estate in Chicago to France, it's maybe different stories. But
Yeah.
the point is, it's a lot going on, and even in France, you can get a lot
Right.
more for your money than you can
Right.
in
Yeah.
LA. Is what the point is,
Right. I
or
get
Chicago. Really, it's not mentioned in the article, but Chicago is still pretty expensive.
Well,
But anyway, you could also, and now this is coming back to the U.S., you could buy 50 acres of land in Wyoming.
Wow.
And that gets the hay shed, the shop.
For how much?
The 3-bedroom home, 2 barns and stalls, and then the pasture. So the horses get to roam around. And that's also for less than $1.5 million.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Still. Why
So
don't
now
you invest?
I bet you're wondering, what is the average home cost then? What are we talking? Not in LA, but in USA. What are we talking?
Expensive. That's all I know. The word expensive from day one.
Well, the average mortgage payment right now, and this is just mortgage, not insurance, not rent, utilities, whatever,
Right.
what other maintenance we need. I'm drawing a blank right now. Other stuff. There's lots of stuff you need when you own a house. Maintenance,
Obviously, yes.
maintenance, duh. So anyway, mortgage payments, the average mortgage payment right now, with them being close to 7%, is around $2,100 in the U.S. And that's probably that's very low for Chicago area, but in the U.S.
But still,
and that's calculated based on the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So do we trust the government statistics? I guess we can.
You don't like the government, so.
And
I don't like him either, but
I've had
still.
some issues with my taxes. Let's put it that way. Anyway, the national median family income for last year, end of 2023, was around a little less than 100,000. Still good. I mean, that's higher than the average income would have been 10 years ago. That's for sure. And
still, it's still expensive is the key word here.
Well, you need to probably make more than 100,000.
Exactly.
The average, the median price, I should say, in an existing home in February of this year sold for around 385,000. And again, that's average across the country. It's not where we're at in the studio.
Right.
So I guess right now the average 15-year rate on a mortgage is gone, like I said, 6.25%. It was at 6 about a month ago, and it was at 5.5 about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a feeling they're going to go down again at some point, but maybe not this year. So again, this is the Associated Press now giving statistics. The national median sale price of previously owned homes surged by 45% between the COVID days of 2019 and the end of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically the point of this is, you can find some steals, but it's still unaffordable for the average Joe American.
That's my point.
Yeah, no, we're still renting and paying $1,500 a month or more. Yep. So I'm just surprised at the numbers of being able to buy that building. It's still kind of staggering a little bit. But anyway, despite expectations of a slight moderation in mortgage rates, that's hopefully coming later this year, most forecasts project the average rate and most people I think do this one, a 30-year fixed loan. And they're still going to remain above 6.25.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you're probably going to be doing more than that average figure they were saying of, where was that average? $2,100 basically. You're going to be more than that, especially in Chicago. I can guarantee that. But again, if you're in St. Louis, maybe we all got to move to St. Louis and buy a big, huge high rise and rent it out. Some investment property. You want to know how you get to become a billionaire? Right there. investment projects.
Investing, yeah, you have to
Yeah,
get other
invest in
investors.
intellectual radio, invest in real estate, invest in businesses like, well,
But you have
AT&T
to have
doesn't
the
own it
money
anymore.
first. Is my
AT&T
point.
doesn't own it anymore. So I wouldn't mind it. I would like being there myself, but I like St. Louis. I don't know. Have you been to St. Louis recently?
Oh, not recently, but I've been
It's
there
like a
years
mini
ago.
little, it's a very mini Chicago, or maybe Milwaukee. It
Oh,
reminds me more of Milwaukee, actually.
I've been in not the city, but
You've been in the Arch?
no. I've been in like the countryside.
That actually wasn't working for a while. I think they got that all back and
Oh, I
working.
don't
But they used to have casino boats just like around here, and they all went
Yes.
away. I guess that's all land based, even in St. Louis now, in Missouri, I should say, the state. But they had a lot of cool like nightlife right along the river right there.
Mhm.
So that's what I always liked about going to St. Louis. And I guess we have a little time. I can tell the story. I used to be. What do we got? About 15 minutes or so. So I can tell this story. I'm going to, because it kind of relates to this. So I used to be a traveling photographer. Did you know that, Libby? I don't think I ever told you that.
Yes, you did, because you've told me some stories
I worked
about
for
it.
3 different companies. National Studios just disappeared, I think, but they owed me some money, and they would go into Kmart's. Of all the places you think, why would they want a studio in Kmart? But you know what? A lot of people, that was when Kmart was big, you know, not now. There is no Kmart. But anyway, they would be in Kmart's. I think they were doing Sears.
Yeah, I've seen those people in the
and the competitor was Walmart. Walmart had their own people, and I think
Yeah.
Sam's as well had their own groups. But anyway, I worked for this company, National Studios, and they got me in touch. Well, one of the people that worked there knew this traveling guy. Said he's making $100,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
This is 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's not $100,000 a year now. That's like the average. This is when $100,000 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it was very tempting. I mean, I'm single. I was single back then. I shouldn't say I'm single. I have a girlfriend, but I'm not married. And I was not girlfriend nothing. So I figured,
I'm taken by me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know you are. And all know about Libby. But anyway, I decided I'm gonna take on this thing, right? I didn't like just being in the local area, because I was traveling, like, for people that know the Chicago area, Joliet and Chicago are about 30, 40 minutes apart. So I travel locally, quote unquote, between Indiana, Joliet, and then the suburbs of Chicago. And Indiana, I mean like the suburb, Northwest Indiana area of Indiana. So I decided I want to make more money. This guy's talking about $100,000 a year. So I had to meet him right away. I had to quit my current part-time job, which was working at a TV station. And they got really mad, by the way. He's still mad at me today. I still talk to him. Hi, John. Maybe you're watching. They weren't happy that I just decided to up and leave. They were already mad at me because I wouldn't come in days they really needed help. I'm like, I got another job, guys. I work with family. I got this job. I'm in college, because this is when I was in school. So, and it was part-time, very much part-time school. But anyway, so I had to go. I had to just get up and leave this part-time job. If I wanted that $100,000 job, I had to be in Charlotte, North Carolina within the next 48 hours. I'm like, you guys aren't exactly giving me a lot of time here. You can't book a flight. So I drove. I had just gotten a new car. I got a new Chevy Impala. I look like the police, which is always fun. I was always getting pulled over by the police going, are you impersonating us? You know, I see you don't have a plate here, and you got the blacked out. I'm like, no, the car came that way. And it did. It really did. I bought it used. Like new. It was only like the guy had it and must have traded it in. Maybe it was an enterprise car, whatever. I bought it at a dealer. It wasn't very old. I looked like a police officer. So I was doing probably 90 down all those mountain roads. It was crazy. I'm going in and out of lanes. I don't know. People probably thought I was nuts.
Yeah, I still think you're nuts.
Yeah, but I had to be there within by the time I was able to get ready and go, I had to be there within like 8 hours. So, and it's like 6.5 to get down there from where we're at here in Illinois. So it was even maybe longer than that. I took a couple breaks because, man, trying to drive that fast in the mountains is a little nerve-wracking. But anyway, so I took the job. They offered it to me. They were also mad that I couldn't make the first day of the training. I'm like, you gave me 2 days. This guy just referred me, because they really needed somebody. They needed somebody like in Arkansas or something. So I'm like, you couldn't find somebody in Arkansas to do this job? They're like, no, you have more experience. We're looking for people that have the specialty, know how to pose. Because there is an art, believe it or not, to posing people.
Yes, I've seen it on TV.
The wedding photographers do it. They adjust collars. They get you to smile a certain way, all that crap, right? So anyway, I got there in day 2. I had to do speaking of binging, like Netflix binging, I had to binge the training manual, which is like 200 pages long. It's giving you all photo techniques and basics on the company, and be ready to take a quiz on day 3. So it was a hell of a whirlwind tour to get down there. And it was not $100,000 a year. It wasn't even close.
Of
It was more like
course.
45 to 55,000 per year. So I mean, still good, especially in the early 2000s. I'm not complaining.
Right, but they
But
did lie to you, didn't
you
they?
know, it was it wasn't what I thought. I thought that you were getting like a base fee per job.
Uh-huh.
You know, like we'd be getting like $1,000 for every shoot you do.
Right.
No,
yeah.
you know what they did?
What?
They based it on how many people showed up to the photo
Right,
shoot,
right.
because
yeah.
you got like 40% commission on every job that
Right.
you sold. In other words, they were getting the portraits.
Right.
They were
right.
getting the church photography, and they were buying the portraits for the family. So, that's what I forgot to say. So the $100,000 job, your job was to work for a company that's no longer in existence called PCA International, and it was doing church photo family albums.
Yeah.
So I
I've heard
ended
of
up
that
being the
before.
actual manager for a while there, because again, people probably don't want to travel, and they give you a whole region. And the money was good. I mean, it was close to $100,000, I guess, towards the end there. But what kept happening is we'd get there and the church wouldn't be ready, or people wouldn't show up. My
Yeah.
photographers weren't showing up, because it was usually 2 photographers and a quote unquote marketing rep, or customer service rep, which was me, the salesman, right, who was kind of leading the whole thing. Well, I just drove to Arkansas for the first job after I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I didn't even get to go home. They told me, we need you there in the next 3 days. So from like 5 days of training, then I had to go and do 3 days in Arkansas with like 1 day of travel. It was insane.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But that's what I did. I was a traveling church photo album photographer for a while, and sales guy. And I did that for about 2 years. I wore out that car. That Impala had, 200,000 miles on it, I think, by the time we were done. So, but you know what? It was fun. It really was. I did enjoy meeting the people. I almost ended up bringing a girl back here from, I believe I was in Kansas, Rogers,
Kansas?
Arkansas, or no. Yeah, it was Rogers, Arkansas, actually, I was in.
Kansas.
And I was
Wow.
supposed to work at that radio station at one point a few years back, and I decided not to do it because they only wanted to pay like $20,000. It was like part-time. You were the board up at night and weekends or something.
Right.
So for people in the entertainment business, you take what you can get, and things aren't always going to be $1 million contracts like you hear about radio people.
Of course.
I've done sales, so I've been lucky. I've made some money. I work for a family and some partners and investors, so we do all right now. But I'm talking about in the early days. I really wanted $100,000 a year, and I was willing to travel, and I think it was worth it. It got me a lot of experience in life. I'll tell you that. I met a lot of cool people. I could not believe the way, speaking of real estate, now it kind of relates to the article. There were people living in like sheds. Like a lean-to, like you put your tools in. People were living in them. And that was like the normal thing in that part of Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I mean, you got to really, count your blessings here.
Right.
Even if we can't afford a 2,000,
exactly,
a 2,100 month mortgage, we at least aren't in a shanty.
Yeah.
So I could not believe how some people lived. I felt really bad for them. I would bring them food because they happened to be, and this is what was weird. You had these big, huge corporate hotels like Hilton and stuff, and about a half mile down the road on the way to the church, you got all these neighborhoods with like people living like in a garage or a shanty. I was like, holy cow! So I did learn to respect, the job and respect everything you get in life, and not be, complaining all the time. I did learn that.
You're
in
good
this
at
job.
that. So
I try not to, though. I really do, especially after that. I mean, I know that's been a while now. That was almost, it was 15 years ago. But it was just amazing how people are. And you know what? They would come to church. They would look all cleaned up in their Sunday best. It wasn't, you wouldn't have known where these people live.
Right.
You really wouldn't. So maybe that's all they had was the money to do the portraits. And I always felt bad about that. But then the company's pushing me, hey, you got to sell 20 packages a night, and now we'd see a whole church. Most of the church would do the directory because they liked having the photo in the church online directory, and they actually had them. They gave them to people. I don't know if they mailed them or if they just gave them or if they were in the church, but it was literally a directory of every member.
Right.
I'm sure they still do that in some big churches. I don't know if my church ever did. Some Catholics did. I remember that because we went to a lot of Catholic churches back then. I don't know about now, but anyway, it was eye-opening experience. I got to see the and I never even knew this existed. I guess every president has one. I got to see the Oval Office as it looked in World War II because I went to Harry Truman's museum, and that was really cool.
Wow.
So that was one of the things I did in the traveling, But I did learn to definitely respect what I have, and not take things for granted, which is kind of seems like it's been like a theme of the show today. I don't know how that happened. We ended up talking about all of this stuff with the mortgages and the billionaire, but just really, be appreciative for where you are in life.
I get all that.
Help others, help
some
others.
people don't have.
Why do we have to compete? Why can't we all go together? What were you going to say?
I would say some people, work 2-3 jobs. They're trying to make it and pay their bills, and it's
they know how to keep it together. Is the point? And why can't everybody, instead of competing all the time, maybe help each other out a little more?
Well, that's what I think. I mean.
So now we need to go to church and pray.
I don't believe one guy should get all the money.
We need to give money to the Habitat. What's one's the
Habitat for Humanity?
No, I don't think it's that one.
For them, they build the houses.
I forget which one it is. Yeah, they build the houses, right? Jimmy Carter was Habitat for Humanity, I think. President Jimmy Carter. But yeah, it is something to really think about after today's show and then telling that story. Mm-hmm. Be happy for what you have, everybody. And on that note, I think we're wrapping up. Are we wrapping up? We are. Okay. So everybody have a great day. Like I said, we're planning on being here every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I guess we'll see you next time, which should be tomorrow if everything goes as planned.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. Look at us, Mario J. Bell Radio. You'll find us. Bye.